What's up, guys? Today we'll look at the price of Bitcoin, and also we will talk about the correlation, or basically how the spread of the coronavirus will or might affect the market and Bitcoin price in particular. Well, first of all, of course we'll look at the price of Bitcoin as well, and I must say that today we had actually a little bit of the pump above the previous local high, up to something like $9,600, a little bit higher than that. And in fact, if you remember, yesterday I posted these two charts, the distribution scheme by Wyckoff, and well, we are actually above the previous high, so it's not clear whether this distribution is more or less valid right now, although it was really like pump and dump, so maybe there's a still chance this to play out, but I would be more careful with that. The same with head and shoulders formation, so technically, yeah, again, it's still pump and dump. Maybe we can exclude it from the pattern, but I'm not quite sure anymore. The second thing is what I was going to point out is this chart with the total capitalization of the cryptocurrencies market. You see, with Bitcoin, we are actually didn't go above this high in late October, November last year. The price of Bitcoin, if you like make this chart of Bitcoin, is somewhere around here. But for the crypto total market cap, we are actually above this level. Moreover, we made a higher high, which is higher even than this level. So it's basically because of the altcoins are pumping. Well, there is still a little bit of divergence, I would say, on major indicators, and we are printing it like a potential drop to the lower, maybe lower low somewhere around here. But again, it's not clear. It's a bullish trend, so maybe it will, the chart, the price will basically ignore that. We'll see. But in general, it is still more bullish than bearish. At least we went above the previous high, so it looks pretty nice. The second thing which I was going to point out is the appearance of these two rising wedges. So right now we have this rising wedge. I wouldn't really like it because this is the point which I don't want to take here, but still you can say that there's a rising wedge, although there is not so many points touching this support and resistance, but still it looks like a rising wedge right now. And statistically, it's more often broken to the downside. Of course, it's possible to be broken to the upside too, like for example we had here. It also looks very similar to the current one. The situation is also very similar. This was accumulation. We went to the new bull phase, and here the same. Well, we might really go to the new high, and it will repeat the same situation. So again, although statistically it is broken to the downside, usually we may see something like this again. So like let's not lose our hope, right? And finally, I was going to show you this Chinese stocks opening this week with a huge dump because this coronavirus thing. So maybe because of the anticipation of the hard time of the Chinese economy because of this virus, the depression in the market, everybody are selling and so on. Although of course there are other things like this, and this is the Kawamoto Corporation. They are selling the masks, face masks, facial masks to prevent the virus getting by people, so you can protect yourself with that mask probably. Well, exactly, it's like a regular medical mask, but still people are buying them, and there is a shortage of those masks in China, so the price for the this corporation stocks is rising a lot, like 10x actually within like a few days basically. So it means that we might have a lot of the fluctuations in the market, but this is the thing which I was going to show you. This is the chart with the current correction of the S&P 500, and there is a huge debate about whether there is a correlation between the price of the stocks and the price of Bitcoin. And of course, like the general sentiment is that in the very long term, Bitcoin is a digital gold. It will be a safe haven for the money, for the capital flowing from the risky assets and from the low efficient assets like S&P, for example, equities. But right now it's not yet, right? So we might expect that it will be not exactly the same as people would want to. But another opinion is that some people might actually, during these corrections, like when you have the market crash, the traditional market crash, people might actually take some of the capital from their allocation in this market and move it to the other market, which might not be correlated with the equities like Bitcoin. But just look at these two charts. So blue is S&P, red is in Bitcoin. You see, although these corrections are not exactly the same in terms of the timing, but they are very, very similar, and their number is basically the same, except the final one though. And the point is, again, just in my opinion, that we have the huge or like medium-sized players, investors, traders, having the capital allocated in different market, diversified along the different number of markets, including Bitcoin probably. And some of those traders, some of those investors, when they see the crash of the traditional market, what they do, they are going to some more or less risky asset comparing to S&P, for example, like bonds, American bonds, right? But the move of the portion of their portfolio to Bitcoin would mean that they're actually going from one risky asset to an even riskier asset, which doesn't make any sense. So it means that probably they will actually do the opposite. When they see the crash in the S&P, they will take their risky asset portions in other assets like Bitcoin out as well. And that pretty much confluent with the fact, with this picture which we see here. So maybe if it is the same, then we might see another correction followed by this correction. Of course, we didn't have it yet, and we don't have it necessarily with the same time. So again, there are kind of a lag here and there. So we might see it a little later, and in fact, we might even see a new high, something like $11,000, $12,000 on Bitcoin price. And after that, we might see a correction. But it's probably likely that we'll see it, and it will follow or will be confluent with this one. In any case, guys, just my personal opinion, not a financial advice, and let's see how all of that will play out. We'll see how the price will evolve, and of course I will keep you updated. I hope that it was useful. Thank you for watching.